Hi, today I'm going to tell one story about a nice passenger on the flight, on Singapore Airlines flight to from Tokyo to Los Angeles. This happened some years ago. Let's call him Mr. Tanaka. It's not his real name. Mr. Tanaka was a regular passenger with SIA, and he was very fond of the crew, the cabin crew, because they look after him very well. Mr. Tanaka is also a very wealthy, rich man. So on one of his flights, he invited the crew on arrival at Los Angeles, where the crew had, I think, 3 nights stay, yes. And he invited the supervisor of the flight and his cabin crew or flight attendants to go to Las Vegas and spend a night there, in Las Vegas. So out of the 18 flight attendants or cabin crew, I think 12 of them agreed or obliged or accepted the invitation. And mind you, Mr. Tanaka chartered a Boeing 737 to fly the crew from LA to Las Vegas, and then stopped for a night, and then the next day flew them back from Las Vegas to Los Angeles or LA. Oh, the crew, of course, were all excited. And when they arrived at Las Vegas, Mr. Tanaka gave each crew $1,000 to spend or to gamble at the casinos. That doesn't happen often, isn't it? It's once in a lifetime you get this invitation from a nice person, a rich man like Mr. Tanaka. So the crew went to Las Vegas with Mr. Tanaka, and in the evening, Mr. Tanaka took them out and, invited them to eat in the restaurants, all fully paid for. And each of the crew had one hotel room to themselves. So there was one stewardess, and she wasn't gambling in the casino when they were having this session, the gambling session. The rest of the crew, they were gambling either blackjack or the roulette or the poker machines or baccarat. But this particular stewardess was just walking around observing people gambling, and Mr. Tanaka asked her, "Why didn't you gamble? You got $1,000 that I gave you." So she, being honest, she told Mr. Tanaka she had just bought an apartment in Singapore with a family, and they are in the process of renovating the apartment, and they're very short of money. So she's trying to save as much as she can to pay the balance of the loan which she took for the renovation. So Mr. Tanaka asked her, "How much more do you need to pay?" She said about $20,000. And Mr. Tanaka said, "Oh, okay, no problem." So Mr. Tanaka summoned his secretary and asked his secretary to give her the $20,000. And that's it. Just like that. You see, sometimes you're so lucky you meet this type of passenger. there are others which I will talk about later on in my videos. This is only one of the good passengers. Thank you very much. If you enjoy my story, just let me know in the comment section of this video below this video. Thank you very much.